If you are experiencing foundation issues, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
Final half hour of Daybreak Live. Delane Cardwell Robinson joins us this morning. This young lady was addicted to methamphetamine for 26 years. 17 months ago, everything changed in Delane's life. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good to have you with us this morning. And I remember us being on last year.
Yes, sir.
And we talked about the miraculous deliverance from drug addiction, and God's still doing it, isn't He?
He is. He is blessing me every day.
So let's go back and 26 years is a long time. It's a miracle that you're even alive.
Half my life. It amazes me what He's done in my life. I'm still kind of waiting to wake up from a dream, you know. I'm loving life now.
So during the addiction of 26 years, over a quarter of a century, you missed out on a lot of life, didn't you?
I did. I'm kind of having to learn how to live, you know. I'm not used to living a normal life. I'm used to being hid in my bathroom doing dope, you know. So I'm adjusting. It's taking some time, but I'm making it all right.
You missed a lot of holidays, and we got the holidays coming up. So this will be the second holiday season that you've been free, and I know you're happy about that.
Yes, sir. I'm so excited. I'm enjoying every minute of it.
Yeah. How did you get addicted? How did you get hooked on methamphetamine? I understand that it's a powerful addictive drug.
I tried it for the first time just for like an energy booster, and within a week or two, I was constantly using it because you don't sleep while you're doing it. So you have to have more to keep you going, and if you try to work a job, you've got to keep doing it just to go to work the next day because you've been up all night. So it's very addictive, and before you know it, you can't function without it. Literally, you can't function.
And you tried.
I did. I tried for years. I tried everything to get off of it. I couldn't get past the withdrawals. You know, the feeling of the depression, the anxiety, the sickness, you're dope sick. You just want to sleep. You can't function a normal life at all. And I could never get past the withdrawals.
You talked about being addicted to it, and you talked about trying to come off of it. What about the withdrawals? Because I encourage people watching across state Alabama, if they've got loved ones, or maybe they may be addicted to whatever drug it may be, meth or alcohol or prescription medication, whatever it is, the coming off of that medication by yourself is very, very serious and dangerous.
That's it can be very dangerous. It's very hard. It's very painful mentally, physically, emotionally. I mean, you just can't do it unless you got God.
and there were, I'm sure, several points in that 26 years that you said, all right, I've got this, but you didn't have it.
No. And I didn't want to tell my family because I was so ashamed. We're out in the public eye, and it's very embarrassing. But since all this has happened, I feel like I need to, because there's a lot of people that own businesses now that are still struggling with this addiction that people know nothing about. And I need to let them know that it's possible. You know, you can overcome it.
Delane Cardwell Robinson, our guest this morning, free from meth, free from drugs for 17 months now. What about your family during this time? You had children, or how did your family develop from this?
I don't really know, because at the time I didn't care. You know, you don't care. You could care less what going on around you, really.
You didn't care?
No.
Wow.
No, that drug had me so bad. I didn't care about myself, much less my family. All I wanted to do was get my next fix.
Yeah. And during this time when you were addicted, family or anything else were second or third down the list?
Oh, for sure. Yes, sir. As bad as I hate to say it, yes, sir.
Yeah. So you didn't really have friends. You had other people who were struggling with the same issue that you struggle with.
Yeah, a drug addict's not going to run with somebody that don't do drugs. If you know somebody's doing drugs and they're running with your family member, 9 times out of 10, they're getting high together. That's the only friends you have.
Did you ever think, this is going to kill me?
No. I was hoping it would.
Wow.
I tried to kill myself several times, and luckily I didn't succeed. I've been in a mental hospital. You know, that it does a lot of stuff to you. And
God had a better plan, didn't
yes, He did. That's why I'm sitting here right now.
Absolutely.
I got to let everybody know there's hope.
With a twinkle in her eye and a song in her heart and a smile on her face. Let's get to the point where you had tried everything, and one night everything changed.
Yes, sir.
Develop us through that night.
Well, I had hit rock bottom like I did so many times before, but there was something different about this night. I got down on my knees, and I had cried out to God before, and I guess it's because I never really wanted to quit. He knows your heart. He knows when you're really serious, and He changed me. I woke up that next morning, and I've not touched it since, and I live my life to walk by God's Word. You won't never catch me doing anything I'm not supposed to do because I'm scared to get away from Him, because I know what it can lead me to.
When you got on your knees and just wept with a repentant heart, which you've done before.
Yes, sir.
What was different about that night, you think?
I don't know. I don't know if I was just fed up. I was so ready. I don't know. Me and my dad was talking about this yesterday, and, I don't know. But He chose me. Mm-hmm. And I'm so thankful that He did.
So you woke up the next morning from addicted to meth for 26 years. What did you feel then? You remember?
Well, the first morning I've ever woke up that I didn't think about where I put my dope, where I hid my dope the night before. That's my first thought in the morning is, where's my dope? And I didn't think that morning, and I'm like, it didn't really hit me. I went in the den and I sit down, and I'm just sitting there kind of contemplating what's going on, and I realized that He had took it away from me.
Wow.
And I never really believed in God. I thought it was kind of like the Easter Bunny and the Santa Claus. It was just something, to keep us acting right. But God's so real. He is so real. And He can bless you beyond your wildest imagination if you'll just give Him a chance. And that's why I'm so adamant about telling people about God's grace and mercy. And
you've been able to do that since God freed you from meth and changed your life. You became a Christian. You grew up in a church, though.
Yes, sir. I went to a Christian school till the 8th grade.
Wow.
But it doesn't matter. It don't matter who you are, how much money you have, what you've done, what your status is. It can happen to you and your family. And I pray to God it never does. But it can happen to anybody.
I saw before and after photos of yourself.
Yes, sir.
And I'm sure you've looked at those as well.
I have it up in my house to remind me.
I mean, what a change.
I know.
So last Thanksgiving and last Christmas was your first drug-free holiday with your family. How did that go?
It was wonderful. I know Mom and Daddy get tired of me being up there because I'm under them all the time. But I want to make up for what I did to them, I want to make up to everybody what I did.
Delane, there's probably people watching this morning who maybe have not walked in your shoes, but they have similar stories, and they're dealing with the guilt, just like you've dealt with the guilt of what's happened in the past. How do you encourage them to give that to God as well?
Well, you just got to do it. Just ask God to help you, and He will. If you just ask Him, just say, God, help me with whatever it is, and just wait for it. He will help you, but you can't ask God to help you and still go back and do dope and still talk like a sailor and still go to the bars and drink. You've got to walk the walk if you're going to talk that talk. And when you do that, God will bless you beyond your wildest imagination.
How have you been able to, there's people that you were connected with when you were doing drugs that may be still doing drugs today, but how have you tried to still encourage them, say, hey, if it can happen with me, it can happen with you?
Absolutely. I don't know what to tell them, because until they get ready to get help, and until they hit that bottom level that they've got to hit. There's nothing I can do. I talk to them. That's why I reach out on Facebook. I do it in private groups of Meth Addicts Anonymous.
But you distance yourself physically.
Oh, yes, yes. I mean, if one approaches me, like I had a girl approach me, here, never mind, I won't talk about that, but they'll reach out to me. And I do everything I can to help them. But as far as going and visiting them, no, I just can't do that.
So what about, I know your mom and dad are awfully proud of you, and they're devoted Christians and love God, and you guys have a business here in Sylacauga. When people see you now as compared to yesteryear, what do you want them to see?
I want them to see what God can do. That's my most important thing. If they only knew what God could do, and I get lashed out at on Facebook a lot in some of these groups that people that don't believe in God, but they read my post, they read what I wrote. I planted the seed. God can take care of the rest, and that's what I try to do.
Where's your Facebook page? How can people get a look at that?
Delane Cardwell Robinson, or I've got our Addiction Diaries.
Okay. And we encourage you to hook up to that Facebook page, and you be encouraged today as well. I'm telling you, this story is unlike any other story I've ever heard, and I've been around a long time. But for someone who didn't really have a relationship with God, didn't really believe in the God of our salvation, to just come to a point in one's life when you say, hey, God, I can't. And she'd cried that prayer many times, but this time was different. So I guess you would encourage people to never give up.
Don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. I couldn't tell you the times that I cried out to God, and why He chose this time to help me, I don't know, but I'm very thankful. He can give you a testimony to tell others and to help others in the same situation. If you've been strung out for years, just think of the people you can change. Think of the people you can give hope to. And don't ever quit asking God to help you. Ask Him every day, and He will eventually, because everything's in God's plan. He's got a reason for all this, and my reason was to help others, I believe.
And you have helped others. You've spoken to different groups. You've been on statewide television, and she's been on this show a couple of times, and she's reaching out to individuals and groups. Do you have sometimes just kind of pinch yourself and say, wow?
Every day. I'm waiting to wake up from this wonderful dream, and I hope I don't ever.
Yeah, I never wake up from it.
Yes,
right?
but
yeah.
It seems like a dream.
So what's happening in your life now?
I'm helping Mom at the restaurant. And just trying to help other addicts. I spend a lot of my time, I probably spend 7 or 8 hours a day on my phone in these groups talking to people, the parents of addicts, the addicts themselves, trying to help. And there's been several of them that, as far as I know, have turned their life around and is living a good, clean life right now and trying to help others also.
Now let's talk about that. Not only does it affect the addict, but it affects their families.
Oh, yes, sir. It sure does. A lady asked me the other day on Facebook if her son was saying he was getting attacked by demons, and asked me, was that real? And I said, yes, it is.
So you believe that?
Oh, I know. I've had it done to me. I know. I've lived it. Yes, sir.
Can you talk about that any at all this morning?
About what we were talking about, or
about the demonic influences and how?
Oh, you'll think shadow people's after you. You'll think somebody's stalking you, or they'll just be torturing you. Like I said, I tried to kill myself several times, and this is real. This stuff is real. That is a devil's drug, and it affects you mentally. Like, if you're lucky that you don't kill yourself and you make it out, it's hard to talk about.
Yeah. Is there organizations that you would encourage people to look to, or I know we look to God, but even when you're delivered, if you don't surround yourself with God-like people and individuals and groups that can strengthen you, you're susceptible to going back the other way.
Yes, sir. You got to stay close to God. He's your only hope. there's a spiritual battle going on right now in this world like none I've ever even been around, you know, and we all need God. It don't matter if you're an addict or not. Everybody needs God in their life.
So you're involved in your church now?
Yes, sir.
Where you go to church?
Mountain View Baptist Church.
Now, I see those posts on Sunday morning, big smile on their face, kids in the car,
Yes.
and it's so different, isn't it?
Yes, it's wonderful. It is wonderful.
Before we go this morning, and I so appreciate you coming today.
Well, thank you for having me.
And we just want to encourage people that hey, God can change your situation. He can change you. Here's a young lady that was addicted to meth for 26 years with no hope. She had given up, tried to kill herself multiple times. But God said, I've got a plan. And somehow, you know, when you look throughout the Bible and you see miracles that Jesus performed and miracles in the Old Testament that took place, well, that was a miracle that took place in your life.
You're exactly right. That was a miracle straight from God.
Wow. So glad to have you with us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Again, how can people contact you on Facebook if they need encouragement?
Our addiction diaries are Delane Cardwell Robinson.
Okay. Now, before we leave this morning, I want you to look at this camera, and I want you to speak to families, and I want you to speak to maybe addicts of whatever this morning. I want you to speak to them about how they too can be free for real in life.
If you've got an addict in the family and you're just trying to love them, I suggest you pray every day. Don't ever stop praying. If you're an addict, don't ever stop reaching out to other people. Don't be ashamed. There's nothing to be ashamed of. We all make mistakes. We just make different kinds of mistakes. So if you want to reach out to me, I would be glad to talk to you and support you any way I can. Your family loves you. And to any of the families out there, don't blame yourself. It's nothing that you did or nothing had to do with you. It's just a bad choice they made.
What's the first thing you do when your feet hit the floor every morning?
Before my feet hit the floor, I thank God and I pray.
All right. Thank you, girl, for being with us.
Thank you.
Delane Cardwell Robinson, our guest this morning on Daybreak Live. We've got much more to do after this.